He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Monday that finds us into the second week already of Jaguar training camp. I was down at the Miller Electric Center earlier today. At the end of the week, they will have a scrimmage down at the stadium on Friday. We are only, 12 days away now from the preseason opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's also a week that finds college football camps opening. Both Miami and Florida have their first practice on Thursday. Florida State has their first practice on Wednesday. So we will make stops in Tallahassee, in Miami, and in Gainesville this week. In fact, we're going to go to Gainesville maybe a couple of times beginning tonight. Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp247.com. DJ Lagway, a walking boot. It's the rumor. That's what's being reported. It was the shoulder in the spring. Now maybe it's something else. Not thought to be serious, but anytime your quarterback is in a boot at the end of July when camp is opening in 72 hours, certainly newsworthy. So we'll get the very latest there. Also a ton of Jaguar stuff tonight. Jamal St, my buddy from Channel 4, will join me. Jamal, I was joking around with him about this earlier today. He might be the best live tweeter in the history of live tweeting. If you follow Jamal St. during a Jaguar training camp practice, you will get 100 notifications. The guy literally lets you know every play that goes on. I don't know how he does it. It's very impressive, but we'll talk to him about his impressions of training camp, about the first 5 practices, about expectations for the scrimmage on Friday night, and all points in between. Also, a couple of Jaguar training camp one-on-ones. Yesterday at the Miller Electric Center, I had the opportunity to catch up with Jaguar third-year linebacker Ventrell Miller. You will hear that conversation in the 9 o'clock hour this evening. Earlier today at the Miller Electric Center, I caught up with Jaguar third-round rookie Caleb Ransaw out of Tulane, and you'll hear my conversation with Caleb coming up inside of the next 10 minutes. In fact, inside of probably the next 5 minutes or so. So we're absolutely jam-packed. We are with you till 10 o'clock, as we are every night. In Jacksonville, we are certainly happy that you are deciding to spend part of your Monday evening with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, thoughts, observations from training camp, both yesterday and today. It seems whatever side of the ball Travis Hunter is on, seemingly that side of the ball wins the day. Travis Hunter has been on offense 3 times, has been on defense twice, and I'm telling you, just the vibe out there is when he's on offense, the offense is better than the defense, and likewise, when he's on the defensive side of the ball, the defense is having a better day than the offense. Travis Hunter was on offense today. I thought it was a decent day for the offense. I like the running game. Even though Bashel Tootin did not go today, I do like the running game. And I want to say something right now. This Jaguar football team, when it comes to the running back room, they potentially could have a really, really good 1-2 combo in Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. I love the idea of a Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne 1-2 combo with obviously the 2 rookies, Bashel Tootin and LaQuint Allen, in the fold to some extent. For whatever reason, there's a narrative among some, not all, I don't want to lump everybody, but there are some Jaguar fans that I see on social media, message boards, etc., that are of the opinion that Travis Etienne is on the trading block, or they're trying to get rid of Travis Etienne, or he will not be here in 2025, for whatever reason. I don't believe that at all. I think that is far, far, far from the truth. Now, could there be an injury later on in camp to a contending team that all of a sudden has massive running back issues and decides to call Jacksonville and say, hey, Etienne's only got 1 year left on his deal. We know you got 2 rookies. We know you got Bigsby. We'll give you a 4th rounder. Yeah, maybe that could happen. Do I foresee that happening? Not at all. I do not think for 1 second the Jacksonville Jaguars are, quote, shopping Travis Etienne. I think Travis Etienne's going to be here in 2025. I hope he's here in 2025. I think the Jaguars will be a better football team if Travis Etienne is here in 2025. And I don't know how much the label matters, because I think both guys are going to be big parts of this Jaguar offense. Tank Bigsby's your running back 1 right now. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. I don't believe Tank Bigsby took a handoff today at practice from a quarterback not named Trevor Lawrence. And when your running back is not taking a handoff from anybody other than the franchise quarterback, he's your running back 1. Again, labels, they are for you to decide how important they actually are. I think Bigsby and Etienne will both have significant roles in the offense. I think both will be here in 2025. I hope both are here in 2025. But Tank Bigsby's your starter right now. And I think Travis Etienne's going to be more the 3rd down, get him out of the backfield, catch the ball out of the backfield type of weapon. Maybe like a Rashad White in Tampa. That's Etienne, where Bigsby's more the Bucky Irving in Liam Cohen's offense from a year ago. It's a nice 1-2 combo to have, though, I got to tell you. I mean, you probably got to go back to what? Fred and MJD to find a potentially better combo than what we potentially could have here with Etienne and Bigsby. It's been a while since we had 2 running backs like this. I'm really high on Tank Bigsby. Really high on Tank Bigsby. I'm also pretty high on Travis Etienne, to be honest with you. Is Etienne going to be here after the 2025 season? Well, to me, that's much more for debate. To me, there's a much deeper conversation there. But for the 2025 season, yeah, barring something unforeseen that I don't currently see right now, I fully expect Etienne to be here. Quickly to the defensive side of the ball before we get to Caleb Ransaw. This guy does get talked about, so I don't want it to seem like we don't talk about him. But when you talk defense here in Jacksonville, you talk about Joshua Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, right? And for great reason. I mean, are you kidding me? They are phenomenal. I think we probably talk about Foye Oluokun. Again, good player. We've talked about Travis Hunter quite a bit. You know who might be having the best camp of any Jacksonville Jaguar a weekend? Offense or defense, who literally might be having the best camp is Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell has been terrific. Problem is, whenever you bring up Tyson Campbell, you usually have to say the term, if he's healthy. Because, again, he's had hamstring issues the last 2 years. He was healthy in 2022. He's just been nicked up in 23 and 24. So, let me say it. If he's healthy, there aren't many cornerbacks in this league that I would take over Tyson Campbell. I think he's a top 10 corner. Could you make the argument for top 5? Probably could make the argument. I'm more comfortable saying top 10. But he has been terrific this camp. Certainly looking forward to the pads coming on tomorrow, the scrimmage on Friday, and continuing to see what happens. But I just wanted to note that in the 5 days that I've been down there, all 5 training camp practices, I love, and I don't use that term a lot, but I love what I've seen out of Jaguar defensive back Tyson Campbell. Speaking of another Jaguar defensive back, earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center, I had an opportunity to go one-on-one, my Jaguar training camp, one-on-one with rookie defensive back Caleb Ransaw. Ransaw was a third-round pick out of Tulane. Is he going to be a safety? Is he going to be a corner? He played corner in college, thought to be a safety at the next level. Let's hear from Caleb Ransaw. This was my one-on-one conversation earlier today with Caleb down at the Miller Electric Center. Jaguar rookie defensive back Caleb Ransaw here with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM as the Jaguars wrap up another day of training camp. Caleb, how'd it go out there today?
Well, it went good. It's a competitive day. We got the pads on for the first day, and it was good, though, for sure. We competed out there. I always went for improvement, though.
How exciting was it to finally get the pads on, do a little thumping out there?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's a little bit more physical. We've been wearing spiders, though, so, we've been doing, like, a little bit more physical than, like, just shirts and shorts. But it was pretty good today, though, for sure.
Last 3 months for you, you get drafted right into rookie minicamp, right into OTAs, right into veteran minicamp, and now here we are at training camp. Whirlwind, right? What's it been like the last 90 days?
Man, it's been good. One thing about me, I'm always looking to get better. So every day, I'm either taking care of my body, watching film, those sorts of things, and that's really about it. So it's a long, it's been a long little road that I've been on, but that's all you can do.
I talked to your coach, John Summerall, out there at Tulane. He told me a great story. He said the week before you were drafted, you were at the Tulane football facility working out with incoming freshmen. Yeah. Those guys weren't even going to be your teammates, but you were just out there helping them out. That's a guy that loves football. That's a message that James Gladstone and Liam Cohen have sent. They want guys that love football. It appears Caleb Ransaw loves football.
Yeah, man. Really, them like my little brother, so I'm always looking to help out. They even help me with certain things too, but I just always go back. I want them to be great as well, so I'm always help.
As we wrap up with you, Caleb, obviously your first training camp for a lot of guys here. There's a lot of changeover on the roster from where it was last year. You were not here, but how have the new guys, the rookies, the free agents, integrated with the veterans that were here a year ago?
Yeah, so really the vets that we have, they're very welcoming. So we never had any issues, coming in. They welcomed us. It's a good group of guys that we have here, as well as the freshmen. Well, not the freshmen, the rookies. We all bond well, and we all gain relationships throughout this process.
What's your initial thoughts on Liam Cohen, Anthony Campanile? How do you like the staff?
Yeah, I get asked this question a lot, but I love the staff. I'm glad I was drafted here, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about this year and the next ones to come.
Final question. You're in the defensive backfield some days with Travis Hunter. You're competing against him other days. What's that dynamic like?
It's good. He has a gift, and he uses it pretty well, and he's a competitive person as well. He's a cool guy to be around, and yeah, I'm excited about him.
Caleb, welcome to Jacksonville, man.
Thank you.
There you go, Jaguar defensive back Caleb Ransaw with us here on Hacker After Dark. As always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff for helping us out with that one-on-one interview. I'm high on Caleb Ransaw. I don't know if it's going to happen right out of the gate. I don't know if he's going to be a starter on day one, but I think the versatility. Can he play corner in a pinch? Is he more of a safety? Can he be a tweener where he goes in between both? That's the thing with the Jaguar draft picks, man, the versatility of guys like Wyatt Milam, Travis Hunter, obviously, Caleb Ransaw. They've picked guys that can do numerous things. That might be an MO for James Gladstone and Liam Cohen moving forward. I think Ransaw's got a good start to camp. Again, with safeties in particular, and Liam Cohen brought this up, you can't really tell without tackling, right? Because the idea of a safety is what? Literally the last line of defense. So if a tailback breaks through the first and second holes, it's a safety's job to get him on the ground, much like it's a safety's job to prevent balls from going over the top. They did not do that last year when Tyreek Hill went 80-plus yards. So there's a lot of things to go over in that situation. We will certainly see. But again, I like what I've seen early out of Jaguar defensive back Caleb Ransaw. A lot more to do. We're ready till 10 o'clock, as we are every night here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, my buddy Jamal St. of Channel 4. Let's talk to Jamal about the first 5 days of camp. Let's talk Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter. Let's preview the scrimmage and all points in between. Jamal St. Channel 4, joins me next right here on a Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark.
Defense in Duval.
That defense, those are hyenas.
Let's go. Duval!
home sweet home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.
Let's get the work done.
Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Reach Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Go, here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
If your house feels like a Florida swamp and your thermostat's just throwing out suggestions, then it's time to call Duck Duck Air Conditioning.
They showed up fast, fixed it right, and even cleaned up after. My house is finally chilled, and so am I.
Whether your AC needs a quick fix, a full replacement, or just a little TLC, Duck Duck Air Conditioning has got you covered with fast and honest service. Call 904-862-6769 to get your cool back, or online at duckduckac.com. When your AC is stuck, call the Duck.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team? We can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes, teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Ready to add some value to your day? The everyday deals at Sonny's have got you covered. Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, all you can eat ribs for $19.99, and our new loaded barbecue potato for $11. Available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins. Fighting for your rights since 1975.
If you're playing fantasy football, you might want a little help. Get 1010XL's Fantasy Football Draft Guide with in-depth player bios and the top 32 rankings at every position. Get the guide at 1010XL.com and on all of the 1010XL social channels.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit fcymca.org.
Did you know that for every inch of rain on a 2,000 square foot roof, 1,500 gallons come off the eaves of the roof? Call Clearwater Seamless Gutters and Drainage, and we'll design a plan using our Clearwater Seamless Gutters, and we'll connect those gutters to a Clearwater drainage system to solve your erosion and standing water issues.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters. And drainage, too.
SeamlessGuttersJacksonville.com.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coating. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision. Checkmate Coating, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings.
your floor's missing piece.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars entering week 2 of training camp. They will have a scrimmage Friday night down at the stadium. And, of course, the preseason opener for the Jaguars is now less than 2 weeks away. Let's talk about all of it with Jamal St. of Channel 4. He's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Jamal, how we doing, man?
What's going on, Hacker? Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, Jamal, we always thank you. It's a busy time for everybody. And, all right, 5 practices in to training camp. The first one in pads, I guess full pads for the linemen. Everybody will be in full pads tomorrow morning. But just your thoughts, mile-high view at the start, what you've seen after 5 training camp practices.
Look, I think it's been good. I think the intensity's there. I think the guys are getting after it a little bit. You can see the offense making progress each day, kind of step by step. The offense has really only had like one notably bad day, but I think the defense has really looked good and been competitive each day. I mean, even the past couple of days, today included, Hacker, it was tough to differentiate between the two to say like, oh, which side of the ball really kind of won the day. I guess the coaches kept score today, so that helped us out. The defense edged out the offense, but just barely. I mean, it's been a competitive practice like each day for the Jaguars. So you kind of got to feel pretty good about what you've seen.
You know, to this point, again, pads are just now on, full pads tomorrow. But if you take into account, OTAs, the mini camps, and the first 5 training camp practices, Jamal, what's your overall thought on the way Trevor Lawrence has looked?
I think Trevor has made a ton of progress. And every so often he'll make one of those throws where you're like, oh, there it is. And those are the head-turning throws. And I think for the most part, he's eliminated the bad throws. Watching training camp with Doug the past couple of years in that offense, there were a whole lot more short passes, check downs, or Trevor Lawrence tucks and run plays, even in training camp on the practice field. Here, he's getting the ball out of his hands. It's quick. I think they have a lot of short passes built into this thing, and I think the receivers are going to be allowed to kind of make plays, and they're going to play the matchups. So I think the biggest thing is just the command of the offense and the ability for him to get them into the right play in the right situations. And the quarterbacks, and even Coach Cohen talked about it, they did a quiz right before training camp kicked off, and Trevor scored the highest out of all the quarterbacks in the QB room. And, you expect him to do that, but it's notable because this is an offense that Wolford and Mullins have been in for years. So they've been at it. They should know this offense better than Trevor, but a guy who's only had the offense in his hands for a couple of months was able to score the highest grade out of the group, which is really good.
Jamal St. of Channel 4 with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Jamal, the running game, look, I don't want to jump to any conclusions 5 practices in, and sometimes we read too much into things, and I'm certainly guilty of that at times, but is it fair to say that it's fairly obvious that Tank Bigsby is RB1, at least right now, for this football team?
I mean, I thought Tank Bigsby was the guy going into camp. Look, I think Tank's going to take the majority of your handoffs. I think ETN will still be involved, but I think the roles are going to be a little bit differently defined. I think that Tank Bigsby is going to be your Bucky Irving, if you will, if you're paying attention to what the Bucs did last year, and that Travis Etienne is going to be your Rashad White. And that's what it's going to come down to. So I think both of them play, but they will be used in different ways. So when we sit here and track it, I think what we're seeing is that Tank is being used as more of your, I guess you could say, traditional running back who lines up in the backfield a lot, and he's getting the handoffs, and he's been taking those with the stars. Today, Tank Bigsby didn't take a handoff from anybody not named Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. Travis Etienne did. So this isn't, it kind of is what it is. The rotation is kind of showing you they're taking a long and hard look at Tank and what he brings, and they're going to give him every opportunity to be the leader in that backfield when it comes to carries. But that's not to say that Travis Etienne won't be involved on the offense, and they're not going to get him the ball in other ways, because I talked to Travis earlier or maybe it was last week, whatever. Camp's blurring together. I talked to Travis and asked him, I said, is this the most you've lined up outside the backfield in your life? And he said, most definitely. But he likes it because the goal is to get him in space one-on-one with a defender. So they're both going to be used. It just sounds nice and fancy to say one's the RB1. I think they'll both end up being involved when it's all said and done.
For some reason, there's a narrative, Jamal, with some fans, not all certainly, but at least some on social media, that Etienne is going to get traded or Etienne's on the trade block, and I can fairly, with a lot of confidence, tell you that's probably not the case. Now, would somebody come in with an offer if an injury happened around the league that would blow the Jaguars out of the water and they can't refuse? Yeah, I'm never going to say that can't happen. But Travis Etienne, barring anything very, very unforeseen, is going to be a Jacksonville Jaguar in 2025, correct?
Yeah, look, I don't expect him to be playing somewhere else. That's why I like when we talk about the running back situation, while I'll preface it with, yeah, I think Tank Bigsby ends up being your RB1, your leader in the backfield. He'll have the most carries at the end of the day. It wouldn't surprise me if you said touches, period, that Tank and Travis are very close. Like if Tank has 10 or 15 carries, but Travis has 8 carries and then catches 4 or 5 passes over the course of the game, like we're not going to be looking at it and saying, oh, this guy wasn't involved. I think they're going to have defined roles and they'll be involved. Now, and I understand where the narrative comes from. When you bring in a new regime, there are obviously players that get replaced. And when you draft 2 running backs, that says, oh, there's some competition in the backfield, and they've now brought in their guys. But I don't expect that to be this season where Tootin and Allen just roll in and take over the backfield. Could it happen in a year or two? Maybe. But I don't think it's this year.
Couple of more for Jamal St. of Channel 4. Jamal, we've gone 6 minutes and 45 seconds, and I haven't asked you about Travis Hunter yet. That will end now. What is your thought on Travis Hunter to this point?
Oh, I think he's fantastic. I really do. I think he is such a natural at corner. It is ridiculous. He is such a smooth athlete at DB. And I thought in the draft that corner might be his best position then. And watching him there, I think he is just a natural talent at defensive back. And that's not to say that he's not a really, really good wide receiver. When you get the way he can contort and try and play the ball in the air is honestly just cool to watch. I think he's going to be a fantastic player on both sides of the football for the Jaguars. Honestly, he's been impressive. The other day when we really got to watch him compete at cornerback in a lot of 11-on-11, he should have finished the day with 2 interceptions. And I mean, he had a pass breakup on Brian Thomas in the end zone. Like when you say Brian Thomas versus Travis Hunter, that's what people wanted to see, and Travis won the rep. So, like, that's just how good this guy has been when he's really gotten his chance. Now, I think the Jaguars are being smart with him, and they're going to pick their spots, and they don't want to give him too much run here, but they got to see what they got because he's going to get a ton of run during the season. So there's limited interactions along the way, but, I mean, I think he's just been really good. I mean, he is an explosive athlete who, when the ball is in the air, can make plays that I think other people just can't make.
You know, I'll be honest, this entire offseason, I was somewhat skeptical of he's going to have big roles on both offense and defense. I thought that was nice to say, and, you know, that's the thing to say in May, June, and you know, the early stages of July. But as we're seeing in camp, I mean, 3 days so far on offense, 2 days on defense, getting a lot of run out there with both. Jamal, I think they're going to attempt this. Now, will it work? It'll be fascinating to watch, but there's no doubt that, at least to me, the offense has looked better when Travis Hunter has been out there on offense. And like you said, defensively, he had a couple of great moments over this past weekend.
Look, I'll be surprised. Hacker, they told us they were going to play him, and I always kept cautioning people when they said, oh, he's going to focus on wide receiver. I thought they were misconstruing that quote. that of them saying, oh, he's only going to be a wide receiver. No, I fully believe this dude is going to play both ways a lot. And we'll see if it works. We'll see about health. That's the only concern that we really got about this run is, okay, well, can he stay healthy? Well, there's one way to find out. Send him out there and let him do what he does. And what we've seen so far is that if I asked you right now, Hacker, just to lay out their best 11 on offense and their best 11 on defense, I'm willing to bet you put Travis Hunter in the best 11 on both sides of the football.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Particularly, like the offense looks different, Jamal, when Travis Hunter is not out there. Now, again, it's very, very early, and we try not to make too big a deal out of stuff that happens in late July. But to me, the 3 offensive practices that Hunter has been on offense were better than the 2 practices where he was on defense.
Well, he brings a layer that while Parker Washington, I think, is one of the guys that's having a really good camp, Parker's not Travis Hunter. I mean, he's his own guy, and he plays the game his own way. And I think Travis brings something to the field. And ultimately, like De'Ami Brown, who we think is going to be a big part of the offense, he's not Travis Hunter. It's Brian Thomas, who's wide receiver 1. And when we start talking about where Travis Hunter's going to end up at, I mean, it's like wide receiver 1B if he lives up to the expectations. So, yeah, when you take that guy out of the mix, things change. The offense changes. The way teams are going to play you, the way the defense is able to match up, it's different. And that's going to be the thing. I think he's going to be involved a ton on both sides of the football. I think he's really good. And I think if anybody lays out their best 11 on offense and say lay out their best 11 on defense, Travis is in the best 11. And this coaching staff is making it pretty clear they want to put the best 11 on the field on both sides of the ball.
Final moments, Jamal St. of Channel 4. Jamal, defensively, boy, if this guy can stay healthy, and I hate that we have to start a conversation like that, but that's kind of the reality. Tyson Campbell, I think, has looked sensational so far in camp. What's your thought?
Oh, man, he's looked great. On Friday, the offense had a nightmare kind of day, and I think the majority of that was because they kept throwing the ball at Tyson Campbell. They were clearly trying to work on red zone fade patterns, and they kept throwing them to Brian, and Brian was matched up on Tyson, and Tyson was not having it. Tyson has been in CB1 mode the entire training camp so far. This is some of the best football we've seen from him. The only thing that slowed him down really the past couple of years have been those hamstring pulls. If he can put that behind him and keep playing the way it looks like he is and the way he was before those hamstrings started bothering him, I mean, he's right back to where the guy we saw him as that we were putting in the conversation of, some of the best cornerbacks in the league. And right now he looks like it.
5 days in, we got to keep in mind that some fans have been out there, but not very many. I mean, it's limited to 2,500. And so a lot of fans have not seen training camp so far. Has anything surprised you, both positive or negative, that maybe you didn't see coming when training camp started last week?
I'm surprised that I'm looking at Joshua Cephas as a guy that I almost am like writing in pen on the 53 as the wide receiver 5 at this point. But I think Cephas has had a really good camp so far. I'm surprised at just how many good days Darnell Savage has stacked to where I'm feeling like he's like firmly in the battle to be the starting safety opposite of Eric Murray. I think those would probably be the 2 biggest surprises for me.
I said the same thing. In fact, I tweeted it out earlier. I said Joshua Cephas is forcing this coaching staff to keep him here because the guy's making plays every single day. And I agree with Savage. I thought Savage had a really good day today. Now, someone's going to be the odd man out at safety. They got too many guys and not enough spots when you consider Thomas, Wingard, Ransaw, Murray, Antonio Johnson, Darnell Savage, even the other rookie Rayon Lane. There are going to be issues there, but to keep all of those guys. But I also thought Savage, like you said, had a very good day today. Jamal, the scrimmage on Friday night, your expectations, what are you looking forward to? If you were to talk to the fans that are going to the scrimmage, what should they be on the lookout for on Friday?
Just look for the competition. I mean, keep an eye out for some of the guys we just talked about. Joshua Cephas has been putting together a really good training camp. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch him, look. Parker Washington has put together some really good days. He's another guy. Obviously, everybody's going to watch for Travis Hunter to see what he goes out there and where he's at, and you should. But don't forget about these other guys, because guys like Darnell Savage, if he ends up winning that starting job and solidifies that spot, that's big for the defense as a whole. So keep an eye for that, and obviously the competition, and look at how the offense flows, because this offense, this is different. This is different than any offense that the Jaguars have fielded in the past few years. There's going to be a lot of moving parts. There's going to be a lot of window dressing at the line of scrimmage, and I think that this is going to be a fun offense to watch. So, I mean, take it all in, and we'll see how they run this practice at the stadium, this scrimmage, and what they ultimately do. Each coaching staff kind of puts their own little fancy spin on it and how competitive it is. But I think it's going to be fun, and this is going to be kind of a dress rehearsal for a preseason game.
Jamal, as we say goodbye, injury-wise, not too bad, although Buster Brown, it was announced that he's going to miss probably the majority, if not all, of camp with an injury. They do expect him back for the regular season, hopefully. Does that affect at all? I know Liam Cohen was asked about this, but does that affect at all what they do with Travis Hunter because of the Buster Brown injury?
I don't think it will. I don't think it'll impact it at all. Look, ultimately, I thought Travis is going to end up being your, I guess, starting corner, I guess you could call it, opposite of Tyson a lot of times anyway. And taking Buster out, I think this gives you more reps for a guy like Jarian Jones to go and cement himself somewhere on that depth chart. That opens that opportunity up for him. It opens it up for a couple of the young guys. Like Christian Braswell had a pretty good day during some one-on-ones, getting a couple of pass breakups out there today when the pads went on. Aiden White, an undrafted free agent rookie, he got an interception early in camp. This opens up reps and opportunities for those guys more than I think it changes anything for 12.
Jamal, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville, Channel 4, you guys are out there every day. You, Justin Barney, the entire crew. What can people look forward to in the coming days?
Yeah, hey, we've already fired up Teal the Show, so every Monday and Friday night over on Channel 4 at 11:20, come hang out with us, and we'll try and rap about the Jaguars, and we'll do it until whenever the season's all wrapped up. So hopefully a nice and long season, maybe into February.
Jamal St. of Channel 4. Jamal, appreciate it, man. I'll see you out there in the morning at the Miller Electric Center.
All right, see you there, Hacker.
Summer's a great time for 1010XL, so turn up the heat and stay cool with 1010XL 92.5 FM.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy. Why so glum?
Stinky ice cubes, Jason. It's all downhill from here.
What?
The tap water at my place smells kind of funky. Funky tap water makes funky ice cubes. I meet a nice girl, invite her back to my place for a cocktail, and blow my whole romantic gesture with a mojito that smells like dog's feet.
Wait, I can totally make you way cooler.
I'm not taking your charity ice cubes, Jason. I have my pride.
Your pride is safe. Our plumbers can be at your house the day you call and install a whole home water purification system. Water tastes better, dishes come out cleaner, even your hair feels better after you shower.
Ooh, the ladies love a man with soft hair, don't they, Jason?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend every day worried about the water in your own home, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Luke
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
If fishing is in your DNA, hop in the boat with Captain Kevin. It's the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hi folks, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080. What do the letters AM and FM stand for?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In radio lingo, AM stands for amplitude modulation. FM stands for frequency modulation.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
15 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. Glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock, as we are every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, excuse me, we'll have Ryan Roberts. Rise and Draft is where you follow him on social media. Ryan Roberts does a terrific job. Denmark, take over for a second. I have a frog in the throat. Live radio, ladies and gentlemen.
I was trying to find the soundbite when you said you had a frog in the throat from you did this when you were sick last time. I'm trying to find it. I don't think I have it anymore.
I'm usually good for one of those every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, when you consider that I was out at the Miller Electric Center, 13 hours ago, and all the stuff that you do during the day, and then you come in here at night to do the show, you battle through things. And frog in the throat, excuse me. Frog in the throat, excuse me. That's what it is, man. It's a frog in the throat. It happens every so often in our business. But I mentioned Ryan Roberts, Rise and Draft. The cool thing about Ryan, he's with A2ZSports.com now. He's been my draft guy for years. So I'm going to ask him about Travis Hunter and Caleb Ransaw and Wyatt Mile. I'm also going to ask him about Joshua Cephas, because I think Cephas has been really, really good this camp. So we'll do some Jaguar talk, but Ryan's also one of the main college football folks with A2ZSports.com. So we'll do a little Florida and a little Florida State as well. Speaking of the Gators, they start camp on Thursday. Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, will join us coming up here in about 25 minutes or so. Are there other injury problems around DJ Lagway? We know about the shoulder, right? That was all spring. That appears to be corrected now, but there are reports that DJ Lagway is in a boot. What's that all about? 3 days before camp starts. 33 days before the Gator regular season starts. Are there concerns about DJ Lagway's health going into the month of August as we get camp underway? So we'll talk to Zach Goodall of Swamp 247. That comes up in about 25 minutes or so. But speaking about the Florida Gators, earlier today, yesterday, days kind of run together. Yesterday at the Miller Electric Center for the Sunday practice, I had the opportunity to catch up with former Florida Gator and current Jacksonville Jaguar, Ventrell Miller. Ventrell Miller, remember, he missed the rookie year with an Achilles. I thought played very well at times last year, and I think he's having a good camp this year. I think he's a shoo-in, a lock for the 53-man roster. I like everything about Ventrell Miller. And look, the bottom line is the linebacker room, of all the change on this roster, and there was significant change to many positions, interior D-line and linebackers had the most little change of any other position. Foye Lewican still here, Devin Lloyd, Ventrell Miller, Chad Muma. You do add Jack Kaiser, but they must like those linebackers, man. Obviously, Foye, Devin Lloyd's in a contract year. Chad Muma's in a contract year. Ventrell Miller coming into year 2, 2 years now removed from the Achilles. And, of course, Jack Kaiser, the 4th-round draft pick out of Notre Dame. How many linebackers will they keep? Well, that'll be a conversation for a few weeks from now. But I know one that's going to be here, and that's Ventrell Miller, the former Gator and the current Jacksonville Jaguar. I had the opportunity yesterday morning at Sunday's practice to catch up with Ventrell, and here is that Jaguar training camp one-on-one. Jaguars wrapping up a Sunday practice at the Miller Electric Center. We got Jaguar linebacker Ventrell Miller with us here on 1010XL. Ventrell, how'd it go out there today?
Yeah, it was a pretty good day today. Flew around, made some plays today. Stack another day tomorrow.
You know, we always talk about the changeover in this roster with a new coaching staff. Obviously, you're one of the holdovers. What's it been like having so many new guys in the locker room this offseason?
It's been smooth. Like I said, trying to trickle around in the locker room, get to know everybody, come out here, communicate on the defense, so it's just easier to talk to guys. So it's been smooth.
Well, I guess in the linebacker room, you really think about it, and it's you and Foye and Devin and Chad. You welcome in Jack Kaiser, a couple of other guys. There's still a lot of continuity in that linebacker room. How helpful is that?
Yeah, pretty much the same group. We got everybody connected in that group, so it's a good linebacker room. Like I said, we do good communicating, and it's continue to build on that with the young guys as well.
A lot of people are wondering about Anthony Campanile's scheme, not obviously to get too much into it, but will it be obvious to the casual fans, Ventrell, what we saw last year compared to what we saw this year? Will fans watching on Sunday be able to see a noticeable difference?
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a noticeable difference. It's a lot more. I feel like we're a lot more aggressive attacking, but we'll see. We'll see when we get out there, but I'm excited about the defense for sure.
Speaking about Anthony Campanile, what do you like about him?
He bring energy. He's just like me. I feel like just bringing that energy. Very passionate about the game. Coaches you hard. Wants you to be great. So definitely great to have a coach in the building.
Same question, Liam Cohen. What do you like about the new head coach here in town?
Pretty good guy as well. We got the team meetings and all that. We get to talk around. Also see him in the defensive meeting room. That's one of the first times I done seen that. Just offensive guy minded, just being in the defensive room. But it's been smooth to be around, taking care of the guys, and it's been pretty smooth.
A couple more for Jaguar linebacker Ventrell Miller. Wasn't that long ago you were the young guy.
Yeah.
Now year 3, you know. I mean, what's Ventrell Miller's game now compared to when you arrived here 2+ years ago?
Like just more knowledgeable of the game. Still feel like I got that. I'm flying to the ball. That's a natural for me. So just being a playmaker, finding the ball wherever it goes, and just trying to help my teammates win the game. Yeah.
Competing against this offense, I mean, obviously a lot of speed with Travis Hunter, Diami, BTJ, go on down the line. What's it like competing against these guys every day?
Yeah, we definitely got some guys. They definitely help us come out and be better. So definitely glad to have those guys. Like I said, they compete. We get better from it. So.
Motivation after last year? Obviously, it didn't go the way anybody wanted. You're one of the holdovers, played a lot of football last year. Is there a motivating factor coming into 2025 for you guys?
Definitely to be better than what we did last year. Had that chip on our shoulder. I know people just think we're not going to come out and like I said, new coaches coming in think we're not going to win now, but just the mindset, having the mentality to get everything right now and count. And like I said, be ready to win now.
Final question. I think I'm contractually obligated to ask you about Travis Hunter. Mm-hmm. What's it like to have a guy on defense sometimes, offense the other? You're competing against him. Yeah. You're playing with him. That's got to be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic. I told him today he was back-to-back on the dark side, so 2 days on the dark side. It's good to see him on defense for sure. But like I said, when he's on offense, we competing with him. But it's crazy to see, but yeah, he's doing a good job at it for sure.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask Ventrell Miller about the Florida Gators.
Alrighty.
What about Billy Napier? You're number 4 down there in Gainesville.
A lot of height this year. Y'all know they're going to give us the toughest schedule out there, but we understand. We're going to take it day by day, but I'm excited for those guys. A lot of height, so I'm excited to see what them boys do.
And DJ Lagway, a lot of excitement about DJ Lagway. Have you had a chance to meet him, talk to him at all?
A little bit on the phone. I was on the phone with one of my other guys, Tyrese South, but you got a chance to speak to him. I told him I was a fan, so but excited to see how he's developed his next year, his sophomore year, so excited to see what he's going to do.
Ventrell, appreciate it, buddy.
All right, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
There you go, Ventrell Miller with us here on Hacker After Dark. I'm a fan, Denmark. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I like all the guys. And again, thank you to the Jaguars PR staff for helping us out with these interviews. But I always talk to Ventrell Miller as often as I can. You want to talk about just a cool guy to talk to. He comes over with a big smile on his face. He's excited to be out there. He's just a good dude. And I think you could hear that with these interviews that he does with us.
Yeah, you hear that, and not just with you, it's with Baloo or Hayes, anybody he's with. He was even like that in college. He always got a big smile on his face. He's battled through injuries. His last year at Florida, his first year with Jacksonville. Last year, you finally got to see him play, and it feels like, he's going to be one of the guys that's going to be playing the linebacker spot here this year, too.
And it's interesting because I mentioned, all right, Foye Oluokun, Devin Lloyd, Ventrell Miller, I think Chad Muma, although there's probably a conversation there, and then certainly Jack Kaiser. That's 5. But on the Jaguar roster sheet that they give you, Yasir Abdullah is listed as a linebacker. Jalen McLeod, the 6th-round rookie from Auburn, is listed as a linebacker. And Dennis the Barbarian, I guess is what they called him out in Arizona, Dennis Gardeck, who's on the PUP list, but should be coming off pretty soon. He tore his ACL in October. He's been out there off to the side during all of camp. He's also listed as a linebacker. So with that, all right, there's 7 guys. You wouldn't think they're going to cut McLeod because this regime drafted him. So I don't necessarily know what that means for either a Yasir Abdullah or a Chad Muma. Denmark, those are 2 veterans that very much could be on the bubble list right now.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. Something that hasn't been talked about much is, Gladstone is a GM from the Rams. Obviously, Liam Cohen was a coach for the Rams for a little bit as well. I know he came from Tampa a year ago. The Rams didn't play any other guys in the preseason the last, 8-9 years. So what's Jacksonville's philosophy going to be going to this preseason? I don't think they're going to take that approach. Like in LA right now, the Stafford, is a little banged up, and they're like, yeah, he's not going to be playing for the preseason. And they're like not worried because, he's just not going to play at all. And his first snap is going to be whatever that first week is in September. So it'll be interesting to see, how they manage these guys. You talk about Tootin and Mason Smith. The guys are a little banged up. How are they going to manage the playing time in the preseason? Are they going to go play a drive or a quarter or, just not play them at all?
Well, I think, too, you look at Trevor Lawrence and his three main weapons. I talked about this at the end of last week. Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown. Trevor Lawrence has a combined 8 games of NFL regular season experience with those three guys, and all 8 have belonged to Brian Thomas. They only played 8 games together last year. He hasn't obviously played a game with Travis Hunter or De'Ami Brown, so do you have to build on that timing, that chemistry in the preseason? Will they be given the opportunity to do that, or do you just say, no, we're not going to chance it with injuries. We'll see you September 7th against the Carolina Panthers. More on the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com, will join me. We'll also go to Gainesville as the Gators begin camp on Thursday. Is there another injury issue with DJ Lagway? We'll talk about that as well. We are at halftime on Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We will take you up till 10 o'clock right here. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
What was that?
It's called radio.
It sounds bigger.
The one and the only king of the airways.
1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Now this is how you end a summer. Under the lights, surrounded by history. The driver's last shot at the playoffs. Your last chance to see regular season action. Friday night, Xfinity lights the fuse. Saturday night, the Cup Series delivers the fireworks. This is Daytona. This is everything. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 22nd and 23rd. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Every joint in the body was designed for movement. Inactivity can cause stiffness, weakness, weight gain, and decrease in overall balance. So you should strive for at least 30 minutes a day of exercises that promote flexibility like yoga, strengthening with weights, and cardiovascular fitness like walking, swimming, or biking. The more you move, the better you will feel, and your overall health will benefit. Let's get healthy, Jax. Go Jags.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
Are your kids ready to play this summer?
Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y Summer Camps, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, visit AA Automotive on Richard Street. For oil changes to complex repairs, AA Automotive is a full-service repair shop for personal and commercial fleet vehicles. Trust AA to keep your ride running A-OK.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
If a birthday or anniversary is looming in your immediate future, take care of it today by ordering a floral arrangement online at CuneFlowers.com. Be the star of their day. This is Frank Frangie. Take it from me. An arrangement from Cune Flowers works like magic.
Celebrate National Carpet Cleaning Month with Zero Res. Hicken here. Check this out. $45 per room of carpet clean. Take 20% off your air duct services. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and take advantage of the savings.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Till 10 o'clock, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. As I mentioned last week, it is worth noting for you fantasy football players out there, after 3 long years, I think the last one was in 2022, the Hacker Fantasy League, the HFL, is back here in 2025. The draft will be Thursday night, August the 21st. Twin Peaks is the location. They're on Atlantic and Kernan. Oh, man. Love Twin Peaks. Delicious food, great drinks. Are you kidding me? Great location on Atlantic and Kernan. 116-team league. Switching it up a little bit this year. No more of the 2 12-team league stuff. We're doing 1 16-team league. If you think you're the best fantasy football player that listens to 1010XL, we will start giving spots away certainly next week, maybe the end of this week. And again, there are only 16 spots available, so be listening for your chance to be back in the revamped, re-imaged HFL. Again, first time in 3 years that we've done it. The Hacker Fantasy League comes out of retirement. The draft will be Thursday night, August the 21st at Twin Peaks. We're going to go down to Gainesville coming up here in less than 15 minutes. Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Now, look. A lot of excitement about Florida coming into the year. Obviously, the schedule's brutal. We've talked a lot about that. But DJ Lagway, we did this in the spring, right? Remember, there was the shoulder issue. He wasn't throwing the ball. Then all of a sudden, after the spring, it came out that he was throwing and he was doing good and he was ready to go. And he went to SEC Media Days, 12 days ago? Now, all of a sudden, I started hearing rumblings about this weekend, started hearing more rumblings about it this morning, and lo and behold, reports are coming out of Gainesville that DJ Lagway might have another injury of some sort, a lower leg injury, potentially even in a walking boot. So that leads the mind to wonder. Is it a foot? Is it an ankle? Is it a calf? Now, indications are it may not be a serious deal, but when you're the starting quarterback of the Florida Gators and you start camp on Thursday, you play a game in 33 days and you're reportedly in a walking boot, I don't know, Denmark. I mean, if you're a Gator fan, how concerned should you be about these developments in the last 24 hours with DJ Lagway?
Yeah, it's definitely concerning considering that you didn't hear anything about his shoulder up until the first day of spring practice, and then you start fall camp this week, and then now this arises again. I mean, the quarterback has to take reps and build time with your receivers and the offense, and, I mean, you're playing a game here in 6 weeks. Now, what's going to suck is Billy Napier is going to go up tomorrow. He's not going to say anything about anything, and he'll say it's precautionary.
He will be asked about it.
And he's not going to say anything about it. So we're not going to know anything about this injury up until week 1, because that's how college football works.
And truthfully, you don't even need, I mean, you could play quarterback against Long Island and the Gators would win. Then they have USF the next week, and then they go to Baton Rouge. I mean, that's the game. Circle that one, September 13th. I mean, so DJ Lagway, what is it, July 28th right now? So 47 days. You're 47 days away from going to the Bayou to play LSU in Baton Rouge. Now, certainly you would love to see Lagway play against Long Island and play against USF. And maybe this isn't a big deal. But again, a walking boot is what's being reported out there from some outlets in Gainesville. Just an interesting turn of events. Quickly, so we're going to go to Zach Goodall. Denmark, DJ Lagway. I brought this up with Tyson Campbell earlier, and it's unfortunate. You got to talk about when he's healthy. Are we there yet with Lagway? A hamstring last year, a shoulder this offseason, now reportedly a walking boot. The guy's only started 6 games in a Gator uniform. Is he going to get that moniker of injury prone?
It feels like it right now, but I wouldn't give him that moniker yet unless it happens during the season. Because if it's a toe injury and he's off the boot and he's practicing next week, we're all going to forget about this.
Agreed.
But, if another injury happens during the year where you have to miss a portion of time, then yeah, you're going to have that label that you're injury prone.
But if it's a toe or whatever and he's going to be out of the boot next week, Billy Napier should say that tomorrow.
Yeah, he should, but we all know how these college coaches are. They don't say anything about anything.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. So, and apparently the media in Gainesville can't even go to the first practice.
Well, you saw the same thing out with Florida State. They didn't allow them to go to a spring game. Hang on. I saw Rick Ballou just tweet something. It was so FSU media for practice. No spring practices, no spring game, no fall practices, no media access. So they don't know anything about the team until they play Alabama.
Well, that's obviously going to help a team that went 2-10 last year. We're going to go to Tallahassee tomorrow, by the way. Ira Schofel, warchant.com, will join us to preview the start of Florida State camp. But tonight, it's about the Florida Gators and this DJ Lagway injury situation. Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, joins me next on a Monday evening here in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us till 10 o'clock right here on Hacker After Dark.
Go full throttle for a photo finish.
Off the corner, to the line, the checkered flag is waving.
Sunday at Iowa Speedway.
He's gonna do it!
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL. Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team? We can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes. Teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me. If you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Imagine a place where it's always sunny, drinks are ice cold, and the food's bursting with flavor. Welcome to Hurricane Grill and Wings. Today's forecast: crispy wings, frothy beers, big burgers, and seafood tacos. Find your nearest spot at hurricanewings.com.
Listening that fits your schedule perfectly.
Absolutely brilliant.
Go on demand.
Ad-free shows after the live show's end.
How about that? Channel 5.
Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
What does AM and PM stand for in terms of the clock?
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
AM stands for anti-meridium, before midday, and PM stands for post-meridium, afternoon.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Hey, Hickett here. Think you got the ugliest garage floor on the First Coast? Your garage a crack-stained hot mess? Hold on to your squeegee. Checkmate Coatings is hunting for the worst garage floor out there. And the winner gets a free garage coating makeover. Whoa! Take 10 seconds. Snap a pic of that garage eyesore. Register at checkmatecoatings.com/contests for a chance to win a free floor coating. It's easy. Just snap a quick pic and enter for a chance to win at checkmatecoatings.com/contest. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now, 904-762-1000 for a free estimate on generator services. TysonInc.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. So much going on with Jaguar training camp. They're into week 2. Of course, we have a scrimmage at the stadium on Friday night. you all of a sudden look at the calendar and we are inside of a month away from college football and college camps opening this week. We're going to take a tour of the state. We're going to go to Miami. We're going to go to Tallahassee. But right now, we're going to head over to Gainesville. Year number 4 for Billy Napier. Certainly the best team he's had on paper. The Gators begin camp on Thursday. And one of our main guys over in Gainesville, Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports Swamp 247 is where you find his work. And Zach is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Zach, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Hacker. And I got to just go ahead and start off with this. You guys have been out at camp for Jacksonville, it seems like every day to start. And I don't know how you're handling that heat, but I'll be happy to not be in the heat as much, considering Florida is not providing as many open opportunities for us to see camp this year. It seems like it's going to be a lot more limited compared to years past.
Yeah, I know you were on the Jaguar beat with us last year. You're back in Gainesville. Liam Cohen did us a favor. We have 8:30 practices, Zach. Doug Peterson didn't really have 8:30 practices last year, so we get the benefit of that, but it'll be a hot one, no question. And look, it's a hot team right now in the Florida Gators when you talk nationally, a team that has some expectations coming into this year, certainly more expectations they've had since Billy Napier arrived in Gainesville.
Sure is. Yeah, the buzz at SEC Media Days, and Napier even acknowledged this, is about this time every year when they would show up in, Dallas and Nashville and Atlanta for these events, was them asking how Napier is going to turn things around. And I don't want to misspeak for national media, SEC media, for Napier in any way, but it wasn't so much how are you going to do it, it's how have you done it? And that seems to be getting a bit ahead. They're coming off a 4-game winning streak, easily the most successful stint, or I should say, time for Florida under Napier this far, but it's a 4-game winning streak. Now, it includes wins over 2 top 25 teams in LSU and Ole Miss. There's no doubt there's momentum. I think that's been shown in the way that the roster was largely kept together this offseason, whereas in years past, they've had a lot of transfer exits, but they return a lot of talent, a lot of experience, and as a result, people are finally starting to drink the Kool-Aid around this team. Expectations, no doubt, are very high. And with that comes, a standard that I'm sure internally they're hopeful to meet their own standards. But externally, if they're not meeting those to start the season, if they don't pick up where they left off, there's going to be a lot more questions and a lot more buzz again, like there was the first, let's call it 2 2/3 years of Napier's tenure here.
Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports Swamp 247. That's exactly right. I mean, look, it's all great right now because you beat Ole Miss and LSU and Florida State last year. You know as well as I do, Zach, they're going to probably start 2-0, but then the gauntlet of at LSU, at Miami, home Texas, and at Texas A&M. I mean, if you're 2-2 or worse in that stretch, Napier's going to be right back on the hot seat. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of credence that can be led to that when you consider this is year 4 of this turnaround. This roster rebuild and the, establishing new systems and everything, that's done as far as I'm concerned. Like, that can't be considered an excuse anymore, and neither can the team's youth, again, with the amount of talent that they bring back. Keeping Austin Barber, Jake Slaughter, Caleb Banks, and Tyreek Sapp when they had potential NFL draft prospects. The offensive line bringing back 4 starters and a 5th player who had over, I think, 350 snaps last year. It's nearly 3,000 snaps from last year alone. They've got a lot of talent and a lot of experience that makes up this roster that bolsters those expectations. And obviously, it all hinges on DJ Lagway, someone that you ask anyone around college football, most would say he at least has the talent to be a potential Heisman Trophy contender if things all go well. Number 1 quarterback in his class, came in and won 6 of his 7 starts as a true freshman. There's rightfully a lot of hype around him, and I think that's kind of the crux of where most of this hype comes from.
Zach, I want to talk about Lagway coming into 2025, but look, people talk this time of year. There are rumors, and when you hear rumors from numerous people, I think it deserves to be asked. A lot of people were focusing on DJ Lagway's shoulder in the spring, and whether that's an issue or not, still, it appears it's something he's gotten over because he's throwing and he's on the right track there. Is there anything to the rumblings that maybe there's something else that could potentially be wrong with DJ Lagway right now entering fall camp?
Sure. This is something that I've been trying to chase down since Friday. And I've gotten, buzz back from multiple sources, but I've yet to get like official confirmation as to what this is he might be dealing with. And this is where I would love for us to be able to see as many practices as possible. Unfortunately, it does not appear that that's going to be the case. But I guess to kind of go through it all, he obviously had the hamstring injury last season, rather, that he was dealing with a little bit into the offseason and appeared to get by. It's been reported that, Billy Napier acknowledged he had multiple injuries ahead of spring camp, which prevented him from throwing. We did not see him throw a single pass, as I believe you and I have talked before. One being shoulder soreness. DJ is mentioning now that he feels great. He does not have a prosthetic arm, was his joke at SEC Media Days. And Chris Doran came out and said that there was a hernia type of issue that was the undisclosed lower body one, also apparently stemming from high school. Lagway, again, he seems to feel as though he's gotten past that. What I've been trying to chase down is it sounds as though there is a new lower body injury. And to, get ahead of it to start, multiple sources that I've talked to have said that this is something that's minor and not something that the staff is too worried about, and they believe that he's going to be able to participate in fall camp, but maybe he'll be limited to start. Maybe he won't even practice the first couple of days. Again, that's where I would like to be in there and get to see for myself. Unfortunately, we don't get to figure that out, but I've heard different labels for the injury. One way or another, it's to his lower leg, and he's been wearing a boot. I've heard ankle and I've heard calf. What it is officially, still not too sure, because as mentioned with this hernia issue, they've been pretty tight-lipped when it comes to injuries for Lagway at this point. So at this point, we're just going to have to figure it out when we talk to Billy Napier on Tuesday and try to get the specifics from him. But like you mentioned, like the word gets around. This has been all over our message board since the rumors started swirling on the internet on Friday. And based on what I had heard before they even started coming out, yeah, there's some legs to it at a minimum.
Zach Goodall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Zach, the Gators are going to go as far as DJ Lagway takes them, and whether it's fair or not, some guys get labeled, injury prone. Are we on the doorstep of that with DJ Lagway, depending on this newest situation?
I would prefer not to say so, if only because aside from his shoulder, and apparently his shoulder goes back, even at the start of last season or after the Samford game, he said he was dealing with some soreness that had stemmed from fall camp. But when you look at it like that, I guess if the hernia goes back to high school, but it wasn't necessarily treated, I wouldn't consider that repeat. So therefore, the shoulder injury is the only real repeat injury, so to speak. And that's where I kind of have the pause on going injury prone with him, because to me, everything else has largely been independent of one another. And now when you have this many injuries in a year and a half, regardless of if they're major, of if they're minor, that label will naturally come, that there's a fear of a player being injury prone. But yeah, I hesitate only because they all seem to be unique. They don't seem to necessarily, aside from soreness in the shoulder, anything repeated.
Zach, as camp gets underway on Thursday, as you mentioned, you'll be speaking with Billy Napier prior to that. What are your biggest concerns about this roster as camp opens up later this week?
I guess to reiterate, DJ Lagway's health, because I'm very fascinated to see if in the event he is unavailable at some point in the season, just how good Harrison Bailey is if he wins the backup job, or just how improved Aiden Warner is, the former walk-on who was put on scholarship. And he memorably started that game against Texas last year, came in against Georgia last year, and did not fare as well. So you want to see him make a jump if he's ultimately going to be the guy. That obviously all hinges on Lagway's health. I think everyone would say that they would like to not focus on that, and that Lagway is able to go all 12-plus games this year and make it all for naught. So with that in mind, I'd probably go the interior defensive line. They return a star there again in Caleb Banks, someone who actually, he legitimately had NFL hype as to whether or not he would go into the draft last year or come back for one more season. Otherwise, it's pretty thin. Desmond Watson and Cam Jackson both going off to the NFL certainly hurts them at nose tackle. And I would say the projected starter at this point is Jamari Lyons at that spot. And I think Jamari Lyons put really good things on film when he's been available with Florida. The issue is he was not available at all last year because he fractured his ankle during fall camp and was unable to play a game. Rising sophomore Mekhi Barrow filled in rotationally with Watson and Jackson at the nose spot, kind of moved around a little bit too. I think he had about 115 snaps, and those are really your top two options when it comes to the nose tackle position. And that, that doesn't even get into the depth concerns behind Banks. They brought in a transfer from Baylor and Brendan Bett to replace DeAndre Robinson, who transferred to North Carolina during the summer. Bett was impressive as a freshman at Baylor, but was unable to play except for in the bowl game last year due to academic ineligibility. So you're riding on a lot of potential, and I don't mean to dismiss the potential in that interior defensive line group, because I certainly think these guys can play. It's just you've really not gotten to see it as much as you would like to feel good about where you're at starter-wise at nose tackle and depth-wise kind of across the board on the interior defensive line.
Zach, final question. Again, the Gators open camp on Thursday. Look, depending on Lagway, obviously, if he's healthy, I think, you could make an argument that could they be an under-the-radar college football playoff team. That's the argument that some in the media have made coming into the year. You're around that team every day in Gainesville. You're as close to it as anybody that covers them. What's your expectation, assuming Lagway is good to go once the season gets underway? What's your expectation for this team?
It's tough for me to put an expectation on it because I have things that reserve me, right? I think the offensive play calling situation that really gained some traction at the end of the season and early offseason when people were thinking, will Billy Napier hire a play caller? Will he not? He didn't end up doing that. He's holding on to it and has a lot of conviction about it. I personally understand the concerns people have about his offensive scheme and some of his play calling, some of the situational things that they go through as an offense. But when I look at this team, and I've been covering Florida now technically 6 seasons, I think this is the second most talented team I've seen behind the 2020 squad with Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney. So I see from a personnel perspective, and that's certainly been the topic with Napier coming in and rebuilding this team, really taking it down and building it all the way back up. That excuse is out the window at this point. They've got enough talent, I think, to win double-digit games and be on that bubble with the college football playoff. It comes down to the injuries. DJ Lagway obviously being number one on that list really could make or break the entire season, and how the staff performs, how it utilizes its talent, if they're willing to adapt their ways, especially when it comes to offensive play calling. And I'll give them credit. I think we saw a change with the defense in the middle of last season when they moved to Ron Roberts as the primary play caller. That unit exploded. It was one of the better defenses in college football in the second half of the season once you got past that Texas game. Are they willing to be as aggressive on the offensive side of the ball that when they're still ranking in the middle of the SEC, when they're still run game oriented in a game that has really, it's moved toward the pass in our era of college football? Are they willing to make the changes if things aren't going well to kind of right that ship? And if they are, it's hard for me to bet against them at that point. I do think this is an extremely talented squad that could go toe-to-toe with a lot of the competition on its tough schedule.
Zach Goodall of 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Zach, tell the Gator fans over here in Jacksonville about Swamp 247 and the coverage you and Graham and all the good folks over there will have as camp down there in Gainesville opens up.
This is what I was hired for, to put it bluntly. I'm here to primarily cover football, and obviously great year for covering basketball too, and I've helped out with that. But this is what I'm excited for. I can't wait to get back out there to practices when we get to starting Tuesday. We get to meet with Billy Napier, the coordinators, a good 3 or 4 players as well. This is what I'm here for. I'm excited. Every single day we'll be bringing I think fantastic Gators coverage as fall camp gets underway and we inch closer and closer to the season.
And again, Swamp 247, where you will find Zach Goodall's terrific Florida Gator coverage. Zach, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hacker.
Now, 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
You trade paint one more time, you so much as touch. I'm going to black flag the two of you.
Mornings.
I'm not going to take that personally.
On 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
The 20
2025 NFL season is just around the corner, and we can't wait for you to be back at the bank. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are starting off the preseason going head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Steelers Saturday, August 9th. Be at the bank as the Jags take the field for the first time this season, and grab your tickets for a 7 p.m. kickoff by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you soon, Jags fans.
The SEC and the ACC will face off in Jacksonville at the 81st TaxSlayer Gator Bowl game December 27th at 7:30 p.m. Join us for Saturday Night Football in prime time at the bank. Preferred locations and pricing available now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Summer's calling, and Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville is ready to answer. Cruise through sun-filled days in a stylish new Tucson, pack the family into a spacious Santa Fe, or explore our selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. Find hot deals on Hyundais backed by our exclusive nationwide lifetime warranty. Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville.com. Visit us on Atlantic Boulevard. For all life's journeys, Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville is here. Welcome to the family. Offer subject to change. See dealer for details.
Friends, we have a very special guest on the line.
The Checkmate Coatings phone line is where the action happens.
Where's the phone? Over there.
Get expert interviews and listener opinions all day, every day, from the drill all the way to Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true. Quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a fight for the last slice of pizza? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Summertime is busy with graduation parties, summer barbecues, festivities, family gatherings. The month of July, National Carpet Cleaning Month. So Zero Res is offering $45 per room of carpet clean and 20% off air duct cleaning services as well. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call them 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has branched off from on-road to off-road. Give us the latest on what they've got.
They have. They've got the 250 and the 450. Rick Carmichael designed these bikes himself, and they are bad to the bone.
So you're talking about a really cool effect from a bike off-road that Triumph had on-road forever.
It is, and it's out there winning races, and it is fun to ride.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville, their showroom on Atlantic near Regency, or online on their Facebook page.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. We are almost a weekend to Jaguar training camp. The Jaguars have a scrimmage Friday night. They have a preseason game in less than 2 weeks. But the college football season is less than a month away from beginning, and the Gators and the Seminoles open camp this week. There is a ton to talk about with that. Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Like you said, we finally have some semblance of football returning, which is always great. I know you're dealing with training camp and college stuff. We'll start up here pretty soon, so we are going to be immersed in college and NFL football very soon, which is great.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You're very busy at A2ZSports.com. You're one of their main college football guys, but of course, you're also one of their main NFL draft guys. And I wanted to ask you about a couple of Jaguars that have kind of shown out early, some young Jaguars. Obviously, Travis Hunter, you and I have talked about him in the past. I got to tell you, Ryan, he's been on offense, I think 3 or 4 practices, been on defense for a couple of practices. Whatever side of the ball he's been on has genuinely won the day. It's been pretty impressive. Wherever Travis Hunter is, that side of the ball seems to have a better day. He's had a great start to camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising that he looks great at whatever he's doing. I mean, he was very rare player, obviously, right, of a guy that could legitimately contend to be a Pro Bowl graded player, all-pro graded player at 2 different positions. Like, we hadn't seen that, right? Like, he's one of those rare athletes that just seemingly can kind of do whatever he wants on a football field. I am still very fascinated to see just how the Jaguars use him as far as, like, split share and all that type of stuff, because it's obviously going to be very hard to play both sides of the ball at a crazy high volume. So I almost wonder if it's going to be situation dependent on who you're playing, right? Like if you're going against a really strong wide receiver core, maybe you want some more cornerback snaps. If you're vice versa playing against maybe not the best secondary in the NFL, do you want to give them a little bit more of a nod at wide receiver, or is it vice versa where if it's a strength, it's maybe a strength versus strength, and you want to make sure that your strength is on the field? So very interested to see just kind of how that split shares kind of shakes out, but not overly surprising to see that he is playing at a high level for the opportunities he's gotten so far.
Another rookie defensive back. I had the chance to talk with Caleb Ransaw earlier today. Ryan, I know the Jaguars really like him. He was the 3rd-round pick. Is he going to be a safety? I know he played corner in college. There's some versatility there, but Ransaw is another guy that I know has shown out very early in camp.
Yeah, he was so interesting both at Tulane and at Troy because he was a nickel, but he was also just kind of used so much, kind of blitzing off the slot and fitting in the run game and just being an aggressive football player, that when you hear that, maybe Jacksonville wants to use him a little bit more on the roof, a little bit more as like a true safety potentially, you don't necessarily, like, it's not necessarily a negative, but it's just something that you didn't see a ton of when he was in college at either spot. So it's going to be a question until it's not a question in like a live game setting. Like, just what are his instincts working from the 3rd level truly? You know that he can blitz, you know that he can come down into the box, you know that he'll hit, and you know that he'll play a lot of special teams. If that's what the Jaguars want to see him do. But if he is a starter, I am very interested to see just kind of how he fits schematically, because he's a very explosive physical kid, but I really am just very intrigued to see how those instincts develop on the 3rd level.
Ryan Roberts of A2ZSports.com. Ryan, 2 more Jaguars I want to talk about before we shift gears to college. Bashal Tutin, the 4th rounder out of Virginia Tech. Now, he missed practice today. He had a tweak of the hamstring, I believe is what it was. Nothing serious. Doesn't appear it's going to be a major injury. They just want to hold him out to make sure it doesn't turn in to anything serious. But Ryan, I got to tell you, man, this guy has been fantastic. Now, I know he had a fumbling issue, sort of, I guess, in college, which was a knack on him, but very fast, maybe the fastest running back at the combine, if memory serves. And I really like what I've seen out of Tootin early on.
Yeah, I mean, he was a legit 4.3 kid, obviously, and we saw that at the combine. But if you popped on the Virginia Tech film, or even if you want to be a little bit of a sicko and go back to like the North Carolina A&T days, like, I mean, he had speed for days, obviously, right? So he's a incredibly explosive one-cut runner. Very interested to see kind of how he mixes and matches with a guy like a Travis Etienne, because they are very different football players, and just kind of seeing how that split ends up happening. Like, is this a situational guy early? Is this a third down opportunity? Can he affect the game in space to mix with, those two, him and Bigsby? I mean, I'm very interested to see, because all three of those players are very, very different players. But Tootin immediately is going to be a guy that every time he touches the football, Jacksonville Jaguar fans are going to want to pay attention. They're going to hold their breath for a second, because he might not be like the most overly creative player in tight quarters, but if you have a bad angle on that kid, he's able to stick his foot in the ground and get vertical. He has speed that can erase just about any angle on the second and third level. So I'm very interested to see just kind of how he fits with those couple players. But in that departmentalized role, at least, I think we're going to see a lot of big plays potentially out of Tootin.
I also want to give an honorable mention to LaQuint Allen, the other rookie, the 7th rounder from Syracuse. Yeah. He's looked pretty good out there as well. Final guy I want to talk about was not in this draft class, Ryan. He wasn't even in last year's draft class. He was an undrafted free agent in 2014, and that was Joshua Cephas. I thought Joshua Cephas has looked very, very good early on in camp. Cephas is a guy that, if memory serves, didn't even get a combine invite, made the Jaguar roster as an undrafted free agent, and the guy is literally catching everything thrown his way early on here. What's your thought on him?
Yeah, he was, I mean, that UTSA wide receiver core a couple years ago was really fantastic with him and like DeCorian Clark, and they had some guys that like looked like legit NFL wide receivers, and they were like 3 deep. It was, and that's why ultimately UTSA was so good a couple years ago, just because they were so high powered and they had such a, I mean, Frank Harris, the quarterback, like they had just such a deep, passing game as far as like high level options. Cephas is a guy that just, he's not like, comparing him to DeCorian Clark, who was at UTSA with him at wide receiver. DeCorian was like 6'3", 210, 215. Like, he stands out. Cephas physically doesn't really stand out. Like, he isn't like this big height, weight, speed freak. But what he was he was a technician. He was a guy that had kind of that sleek route running upside. Was kind of a guy that lulled you to sleep athletically and had maybe a little bit more juice than you would anticipate as a wide receiver, just kind of seeing him come off the line. So he's a guy that needs to do like the little things well, right? Like a good route technician, understanding how to attack blind spots, understanding leverage, understanding what ultimately the secondary is trying to do to him, being able to read what the coverage is both pre and post snap. Like, he needs to do all those little things, but he did it a lot, and he was highly productive, obviously, coming out of UTSA. So I'm happy to hear that he's doing well. And I mean, if he ended up being a wide receiver 4 or 5 and just kind of stick onto a roster for a couple years, I wouldn't be shocked about it at all.
Yeah, Cephas has been a good player so far. We'll see what happens now that the pads have come on. A couple more for Ryan Roberts of A2ZSports.com. Not only is Ryan an NFL draft guy, he's also a college football guy. And the Florida Gators and the Florida State Seminoles both get ready to open camp. In fact, Florida opens camp this Thursday. Ryan, a lot of expectations, year 4 for Billy Napier and the Gators. I know you and I talked in July of last year, and neither one of us at that time knew if Billy Napier was going to be around in 2025. Obviously, he is. He's done very well for himself, coming off a 4-game winning streak to end last year. What is your thought on Florida heading into the season?
I mean, he got buy-in down the stretch, right? Like, seeing the murderer's row of like that middle section of the schedule last year. I mean, I know we talked about it. I was definitely not confident that he would be back in 2025, and I was especially, that he was going to be the guy ultimately for the job. And it's still up in the air. He's still not out of the woods necessarily, but seeing how that team bought in down the stretch and played a lot better and just played a lot more inspired, I think was a great sign. And ultimately, Coach Napier also has a meal ticket with him. He's got a really talented quarterback in DJ Lagway, the true sophomore now, but it's going to come down to health. I mean, Ryan, I know like one thing that I've just continuously read about this offseason, and, I'm not a Florida beat guy, so I'm not there on the everyday, but the shoulder stuff that you continue to hear about Lagway is a little bit troubling, right? Where it just kind of keeps popping up a little bit. They had to be a little bit strategic in how they're utilizing him in practices and that type of stuff. So I am interested to see just kind of what the long-term health of the shoulder is, and if that just becomes a consistently nagging thing throughout his career. But if that kid's healthy, I think that you have a chance to continue to trend upward as a program, because anytime you have a really talented quarterback, a kid that is a true pocket quarterback but has the athleticism where he can hurt you if you are not ready and be able to do some stuff out of structure, I think Lagway is a really freaky athlete. And obviously there's been some good moments as a recruiter for Coach Napier. So I just think it's about sustainability at this point. You have some talents. The defensive line, I'll tell you what, is should be one of the better defensive lines in all of college football in 2025. So if the defense plays well and Lagway is able to stay healthy, I think they're a team that, again, can just continue to trend upward. I don't think necessarily this is a college football team, playoff team, in this season coming up. But if they win 9-ish games and then they're the next team that's like the 2026 jump, I think there's a lot of value in that. But I do think it's still a huge year for Coach Napier. You have to show if you're able to maintain that sustainability down the stretch, or if it was just a little bit of a oddity of kind of a swing there at the end. So I'm very interested to see just kind of how they lead off and start early in 2025, or if they're going to tread water a little bit. It's going to be fascinating the first few games.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The team will go as far as DJ Lagway will take them. The one thing I will say, you mentioned the defensive line. Look, Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks are both studs. Both might be first-round picks next year. And even the O-line. You know, I know people love Jake Slaughter in the NFL. People seem to love Austin Barber in the NFL. Those four guys all would be on NFL rosters right now. All four guys, Ryan, decided to come back to Florida. So that's why I think, if you have those lines of scrimmage, you can compete. And Florida, on paper, has an O-line and a D-line that can probably compete this year.
Yeah, it's so important. Like you said, Slaughter is going to be a guy that's draftable. You're going to have Austin Barber, the left tackle, who's going to be draftable. Caleb Banks, I wouldn't be shocked if he's a first rounder. You can talk about Tyreek Sapp. You can even talk about George Gums, who I think has potential to be a big riser in next year's class as well as another outside pass rusher. So there's certainly talent. Ultimately, I'm a traditionalist. I'm a little bit of a purist in the perspective of building inside and out. I still think is the most applicable and easiest way to have a turnaround. So if the offensive and defensive lines are playing good football, you're able to keep your quarterback healthy and upright. I do think that you have the opportunity to have a really good 2025 season, but I think you hit a nail on the head, especially on the defensive line. That is quietly one of the better units in all of college football this year. Most people talk about Caleb Banks. Not enough people talk about Sapp. Not enough people talk about Gums. I think that they do have a chance to be one of the more difference-making units in the entire SEC conference, and if not in all of college football this year.
Final moments, Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Ryan, let's wrap up with Florida State. It was a football disaster last year at 2-10. I've never seen anything like it. I'm 41 years old. I've been doing sports radio for 23 years. It was unfathomable to me that Florida State could go 2-10 in a season, and they did. Cleaning house, obviously Norvell brought in basically all new staff, 2 new coordinators, a ton of guys in the portal, including Thomas Castellanos, and all he did when he arrived was give Alabama some prime bulletin board material. What is your thought on Florida State heading into the season?
It's going to be better than it was last year, but I am still very hesitant on the team. I know when we talked about it this time last year, I did think that Florida State was going to have a trend backward, but trend backward was like 8-4, 9-3 from an undefeated regular season the year before, So I thought they were going to trend downward just because I wasn't a big, DJ Uiagalelei fan and that type of thing, but I definitely did not think it was going to be 2-10. Like that's nobody thought that was going to happen. Quite that downtrap, but I liked some of what they did. I think there was good investment in different spots. I'm not the biggest Thomas Castellanos fan. I think that he fits the offense with their offense coordinator, who obviously knows him very well. I think that relationship is important because he knows what Thomas does well. He knows what Thomas doesn't do well. So you're going to be able to curtail the offense to fitting him strategically very well. I like that. But I don't like, and this might be old man on a cloud type of thing, like yelling at a cloud, whatever. I don't like him poking the bear of Alabama. I am all for confidence. I am all for belief. I am all for just kind of that swagger. I think that's very important. But when you're a team that's coming off a 2-10 record, you have not earned the right to say things like he came in and started saying. So I thought that the minute that happened, I was like, oh man, I think they're going to be better, but how much better? I still have questions mark. I think I think you got to get to 6-6. Like, I think that you could sell. It's not a great season by any stretch, especially for Florida State standards. But if you go from 2-10 to 6-6 or 7-5, I think that does show that you're at least trending back upward. Obviously, that is an improvement. But I do have some question marks because I just think honestly, the Florida State team has not recruited the high school ranks well enough in recent years. This is what we're seeing of transfer portal can be great in a vacuum in a one-season swap. We saw it like with Mel Tucker with Michigan State, for instance. When you hit the transfer portal well in 1 year, I think things can trend upward very quickly. But the problem is that when you depend too heavily on that veteran side, just like in free agency in the NFL, sometimes you don't develop your young guys well enough, and then you're not sustainable because you always have to depend on the free agency route, the transfer portal route. So I think that they're going to be better, but I do have questions about Mike Norvell and this team kind of just getting back too near that season we saw 2 years ago. I think that might ultimately end up being an anomaly year, but I'm hoping that I'm wrong because college football is better when a team like Florida State is good, but I do have a lot of questions right now, to be honest.
Completely agree. I think 6-6, 7-5 would be a great improvement from 2-10, but I can tell you, Florida State fans around here, Ryan, would be ticked at 6-6, and I wonder what Norvell's status would be for next year, because if you go 6-6, I mean, it's a good improvement, but at the end of the day, that means you're what, 8-16 in the last 2 years at a place like Florida State, and that is certainly not going to cut it. What always does cut it is A2ZSports.com. Ryan Roberts, not only the NFL draft coverage, but certainly college football coverage. Ryan, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the website and what you have coming out in the coming days.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it so much. A to Z Sports, like you said, if you guys are general college football fans, we have your fix, especially in the bigger markets of college football. NFL training camps are obviously open, so if you want to go check out the NFL content. As we get into August, NFL draft stuff will start to tick up. I'm sure I'll have a mock draft or so before the season begins. I'll have an early big board, all that type of stuff, and you can find that at A2ZSports.com.
Ryan Roberts of A2ZSports.com. Ryan, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much.
And thank you to Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Love talking with Ryan because we can kill two birds with one stone, man. He's the NFL draft guy, and he's been my NFL draft guy for years. I've had Ryan on for a long time, and he also now is the main college football guy for A2ZSports.com. So we got to talk Florida and Florida State as both camps for the Seminoles and the Gators begin later this week. And obviously we spent some time on the Jaguar youngsters, Travis Hunter, Caleb Ransaw, Joshua Cephas, second-year guy. Really like what I've seen out of Joshua Cephas so far. So as always, we appreciate Ryan Roberts for joining us this evening. Spent a lot of time on that, but mainly it was Jaguar training camp. We were out at the Miller Electric Center earlier today. We'll be back out there tomorrow. They're off on Wednesday. Then they have a practice Thursday and the scrimmage at the stadium on Friday. And we'll be at all of them. So it's that time of year. It's a busy time of year, but we certainly love it here on Hacker After Dark. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very busy Monday night edition. We certainly appreciate you guys for hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Thank you to Jamal St. of Channel 4 for joining us. Boy, Jamal, I was joking around with him earlier. You want to talk about maybe the best live tweeter of the Jacksonville sports media? Follow Jamal St. on Twitter during a Jaguar practice. My man is getting information out about basically every play. It's pretty impressive. Jamal does a great job for Channel 4, and we certainly appreciate him taking time out for us tonight. And then we brought you a bunch of interviews. I had the opportunity to talk with Jaguar defensive back Caleb Ransaw, rookie defensive back out of Tulane. That was my camp one-on-one interview from earlier today. Yesterday, we talked to Ventrell Miller. Always love talking with the former Florida Gator and current Jaguar linebacker. And we also replayed the Tank Bigsby conversation from Friday. So Tank Bigsby, Ventrell Miller, and Caleb Ransaw, my three one-on-ones this evening. And as always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff who does such a great job lining up those interviews for us here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Tuesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. A full pad practice for the Jaguars tomorrow. We will be down there. I'm scheduled to talk with Jaguar tight end Britton Strange after tomorrow's practice. Looking forward to that conversation, and we will bring